What is Steel Dragon 2000? Steel Dragon 2000 is a steel giga coaster located at Nagashima Spa Land in Nagashima, Japan. The ride originally opened to the public as the world's tallest, fastest and longest full-circuit roller coaster, featuring the world's longest roller coaster drop. Though it no longer holds all of these records today, the ride still remains the longest roller coaster in the world, measuring close to 2.5 kilometers, 1.5 miles in length. Steel Dragon 2000 debuted in the midst of the Coaster Wars, a period in time which saw theme parks across the world battle to create world record-breaking roller coasters. The wars officially began in 1989 with the debut of Magnum XL 200 at Cedar Point. Magnum became the world's first roller coaster to break the 200-foot, 61-meter height barrier, being dubbed a hyper coaster in the process. This quickly sparked other parks to do the same. Blackpool Pleasure Beach opened the Big One, a roller coaster standing 213 feet, 65 meters high in 1994. Then 2 years later, Fujiyama at Fuji-Q Highland became the world's tallest roller coaster, measuring 259 feet, 79 meters high. And it was these attractions that caused other parks to construct non-record-breaking hypercoasters of their own, including the ride that would go on to inspire Steel Dragon 2000, Mamba at Worlds of Fun. In the years prior to the new millennium, Nagashima Spa Land's general manager accompanied the park's president to the United States to test out roller coasters and determine what would be a good fit for their park. The pair visited Cedar Point as well as a few other regional amusement parks, including Worlds of Fun in Kansas City, Missouri. Upon riding Mamba, the park's Morgan hypercoaster, Nagashima Spa Land's president was impressed. At that moment in time, he knew he wanted a similar ride at his theme park. The pair approached Morgan with the desire to build a roller coaster very similar to Mamba, but 100 feet, 30 meters taller, their intention being to construct the world's tallest roller coaster. The president of Morgan quickly welcomed the project, as many aspects of the ride's design were already known. From this point on, the companies got to work. Steel Dragon 2000 was actually designed by 17 in-house engineers and 6 external ones. Steve Okamoto, designer of Mamba, used a piece of software he had created previously to produce the ride's track path in a 3D perspective. This helped the team to overcome the additional challenges faced during the designing process, including that of making the ride earthquake resistant. Nagashima and most of Japan is an earthquake-prone region. To combat this, Steel Dragon 2000 was built using 1.5 times the amount of steel normally required for a roller coaster of this scale. As stated previously, the park's president originally wanted a version of Mamba 100 feet taller. In the initial plans, this equated to a roller coaster standing 94 meters, 308 feet tall. However, because the number 4 is considered unlucky in Japanese culture, changes were made to the ride's height, eventually causing it to be increased to 97 meters, 318 feet. Little did the designers know at the time, this was a critical decision. Thousands of miles away, at roughly the same point in time, another theme park project was aiming to be the world's tallest. Cedar Point, one of the parks the Nagashima Spa Land general manager and president visited, was hoping to regain their title. Cedar Point partnered with Intamin to construct the world's tallest roller coaster. As they'd done so before with Magnum XL 200, they created a whole new definition of height for their newest attraction. And in May of 2000, they debuted Millennium Force, the world's first giga coaster. Measuring a record-breaking 310 feet, 94 meters high, their creation towered above the rest. The world's tallest roller coaster was once again back at Cedar Point like it was at the start of the Coaster Wars, but not for long. What they didn't know was that another record-breaking ride would open to guests only several months later. Originally destined to be shorter than Millennium Force, the increased height of Steel Dragon 2000 meant that it would become the world's tallest roller coaster. And on the 1st of August 2000, it did just that. Designed by Steve Okamoto and costing Nagashima Spa Land 5.5 billion yen, approximately $52 million at the time, the ride opened to great fanfare. In fact, the park held a Shinto religious blessing for their newest attraction on the day of its debut, which was followed by first rides by park officials and the design team. Breaking a total of 4 world records, the ride was met with a fantastic reception. During the first 2 months of operation, over 500,000 guests got to experience the world's tallest roller coaster. It seemed that 3 years worth of construction, which saw the assembly of over 280 track segments and 300 supports, was worth it. At this point, you might be wondering where the name Steel Dragon 2000 came from. If you break it down, it's quite simple. The ride is a steel roller coaster, hence steel, and open to visitors in the year 2000, hence 2000. The dragon aspect of the title also relates to the year. 2000 was the year of the dragon in Eastern culture, completing the ride's full name, Steel Dragon 2000. But what does a ride on this Steel Dragon actually look like? Once guests have navigated the queue line, they enter the station building. Here, they board one of 3 trains. Originally, these trains were manufactured by Morgan, each featuring 6 cars. These cars sat riders in 3 rows of 2, leading to a total of 36 guests per train. However, in 2013, the trains were replaced with brand new ones from Bolliger and Mabiard, B&M. These trains drastically changed the ride experience. Where Morgan's design consisted of box-like cars, B&M produced a much more open design. Guests are raised away from the train's chassis with a clamshell lap bar featuring shin guards to hold them in. This exposes riders to the elements, making Steel Dragon 2000 feel taller, faster, and generally more intense. Because of the ride's huge scale, the trains were also produced with large 46cm, 18-inch diameter wheels to reduce the heat generated via friction with the track, and the front car nose has also been flared upwards to deflect wind. Overall, B&M's design consists of 7 cars, each of which seat riders in 2 rows of 2. This leads to a total of 28 visitors per train. Once they've boarded, the vehicles are dispatched from the station building, completing a right-hand turn in the process. They then engage with the lift hill and begin the colossal climb. Partway through the ascent, the cars engage with a second, separate chain lift mechanism. The weight of a single chain spanning the entire hill was initially too great. To combat this, it was split in 2, causing the entire lift hill to utilize 2 separate chain lift segments. Nevertheless, once riders reach the top, they tower 97 meters, 318 feet above the ground, giving them fantastic views of their surroundings. But not for long, as guests suddenly find themselves staring down the huge, originally record-breaking 93.5 meter, 307 foot drop. Seconds later, the trains plummet down the first descent at the maximum vertical angle of 68 degrees. One 300-foot fall later, guests reach the top speed of 153 km per hour, 95 miles per hour, a world record at the time of its opening. Immediately after, the trains begin to climb the first 77-meter, 252-foot tall hill. This is followed by a second large drop and a second climb. What's interesting is that the first 2 of Steel Dragon's hills both measure over 61 meters, 200 foot tall, making them taller than most roller coasters around the globe. After the second climb, riders bank right and complete a long, curved drop. This transitions directly into a drawn-out upward helix to the right, followed by a second helix to the left. Guests continue the helix, traversing into a wide, low-to-the-ground left-hand turn. A small dip and S-bank later, and the trains ascend into the mid-course brake run. During the first half of the ride, the average speed visitors travel at is a ridiculous 90 km per hour, 55 miles per hour. But the second half is where the fun really begins. Guests navigate not 1, not 2, but 6 back-to-back airtime hills through a series of tunnels. The experience comes to an end with one last climb into the final brake run. During the entire ride, visitors traverse 2,479 meters, 8,133 feet of track. Despite being the world's longest roller coaster even to this day, the trains complete the majority of the course during an 86-second ride, measured from the moment guests leave the lift hill to when they hit the final brake run. The ridiculous speed carried through the course means that riders fly through a world record amount of track remarkably quickly. Sadly, Steel Dragon 2000 hasn't been thrilling guests every year since its debut. On the 23rd of August 2003, the ride suffered an incident with its wheel assembly. Reports state that the roller coaster lost a wheel from the front car, leading to its temporary closure. Steel Dragon 2000 remained dormant until the 2nd of September 2006, in which it reopened to guests. As for its original records, 3 of the 4 have been taken during its lifetime. Dodonpa and Fuji-Q Highland opened to the public in 2001 as the world's fastest roller coaster, launching guests from 0 to 172 km per hour, 107 miles per hour in 1.8 seconds. While Cedar Point's Top Thrill Dragster debuted in 2003 as the world's tallest roller coaster, featuring the longest drop on any roller coaster around the globe. Measuring 130 meters, 420 feet high, and featuring a drop of 120 meters, 400 feet, the ride also stole the speed record from Dodonpa as it accelerates riders from 0 to 190 km per hour, 120 miles per hour in 4 seconds. When compared to newer Giga coasters also, Steel Dragon 2000 is unlike the rest. While most focus on speed and heavily banked turns instead of large airtime hills, Steel Dragon does the opposite. It closely resembles the old-school hypercoaster layouts of its time, and because of this, currently stands as the only Giga coaster to feature a large airtime hill directly after the first drop. But is this a bad thing? Would you like to see parks build more rides of this scale with a distinct focus on airtime? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you all next time. A big thanks goes to Our Worlds for letting us use their awesome POV. I'll link the full video as well as the other videos used in this one in the description below.